All right, next up, we've got Mississippi State and Florida. Florida 10-point home favorites, 50.5 the total here in this game. Florida, they're a weird team, man. Florida. I don't know. They have just had so many. They've had some great moments. They beat Texas, obviously, a couple weeks ago, although we've noted the struggles of Arch Manning, obviously in that Texas offense. But still, beat Texas is a good win. And then last week against Texas A&M, 34-17, it got away from them. The defense, struggled big time, especially throughout that game with the passing game of Marcel Reed, who had 234 through the air. They did a decent job on the ground against the A&M rushing attack, but the secondary got ripped apart a bit in that game. DJ Lagway was at least didn't make any mistakes, but it was tough to get the ground game going, and that's the issue with Florida. If they can't run the football with Baugh and they make DJ Lagway one-dimensional and the offense one-dimensional, it can be a little bit difficult, for Florida to have that kind of offensive success. Will they have it here against Mississippi State? That's going to be the question. Now, Jeff Lebby has certainly got this program moving in a better direction. We've seen, the close loss to Tennessee. Now, they did get blown out by A&M 31-9, but that game was actually pretty close. And it took until the fourth quarter for A&M to blow that thing open. It was 14-3 going into the fourth quarter. So, there's still been some good positives here from Jeff Lebby, and I love that he's off a bye week. And meanwhile, here's Florida. They've played LSU, Miami. They did have a bye week, but they played two back-to-back games, pretty physical opponents, the two Texas teams, Texas Longhorns, Texas A&M Aggies. Now you're playing for a third straight week after those kind of physical games. Mississippi State's back in the role. I like them in catching points. Now, they covered as a home dog. They did not cover as a road dog the last time we saw them against Texas A&M, 31-9. But when you factor in that, both of these teams lost to A&M, it's not really, you're splitting hairs with both of those results overall. I think it's a good spot for Mississippi State here. And again, when you're talking Florida, in this kind of a point spread range, we've only seen Florida double-digit favorites one time this year against an FBS opponent, and that was the South Florida game. They lost that game outright. So Lebby, Blake Shapen, and this Mississippi State team off a bye, I think grabbing the 10 with Mississippi State's the move here. I like that side. C-Mac, what do you think?
Well, yeah. One thing, A&M, this team played great. I thought their offense was really good. There was a bunch of offense early in that game, and then there was a late score that got that game over. But there was 28 points right away in that first quarter. But A&M kind of wore them down. Florida, I don't know what we get. Shout out to our guy, Gorky, who was on Michigan versus US. Yeah, QB is the problem. Yeah, it definitely is a problem, last year too, obviously. Michigan just had to freaking, run the ball 45 times or whatever it was a game. So, yeah, but both these teams, Mississippi State here, off the bye, but their last game, A&M, a little bit similar type game, 31-9. They didn't get it done. But I think Florida at the Swamp, I always think this is a good spot. But what Lagway do we get? If he's money, they could cover this. But if he's not, and the offense, I think Mississippi State could stay in it. And we've already seen the jump with Mississippi State this year, winning the smaller games they should and staying in some games, like Tennessee and covering numbers. So 8-2 ATS too, yep. for Mississippi State since last year.
This year, nice run, yeah, in their last 10 ATS, no question.